Hello and welcome to the Citadel Graduate College virtual webinar series. The Citadel Graduate College has been operating here in Charleston, South Carolina at the Citadel Military College for over 50 years. The Citadel Graduate College offers graduate programs and transfer programs in various fields, including online and evening classes to accommodate working professionals. This webinar series is designed to provide students with a clear insight into our academic programs directly from our key campus leaders, such as our provosts, our school deans, and our professors, support staff, and program coordinators. The Citadel is producing principal leaders under the core values of honor, duty, and respect. So throughout this series, we'll be focusing on those things, and you'll kind of see yourself on the journey of being here at the Citadel. Today, we are highlighting our military history program. We have Dr. David Preston here today, who is our program coordinator for our military history program. He's going to give us insight to the program, and I will turn it over to you, Dr. Preston.
Thanks so much. Welcome, everyone. I am Dr. David Preston, the General Mark W. Clark Distinguished Professor of History here at the Citadel, and also the director of our online master's program in military history. Thanks for tuning in today and for your interest in our program. I first want to provide just a little bit of background on this program and how it came to be. This program, in a sense, unites two of the Citadel's principal strengths. One being the development of leaders across the Citadel's long history, and the second being the Citadel's emphasis on military history, particularly at the undergraduate level, and now at the graduate level. And so hence the motto for our program is study the past, lead the future. And this is a program that is designed to allow students to delve deeply into all matters surrounding military history at the tactical, the operational, the strategic levels, but also in a broader sense, we develop students to think about the broader impacts of war on society and culture and economies as well. So we have a very inviting program of study, which I'll talk about during the course of my remarks. Next slide, please. So this is a fully online program consisting of 30 hours of study. So that would equate to 10 specific classes, which students have a lot of flexibility in terms of the choices that they make. And as you can see here in the slide, this is a program that's designed to explore all areas of warfare, from the theory and practice to institutions and operations of military forces, and as well the impact of militaries and war on societies. Students can pursue particular interests that they might have and want to develop in the program. Students use this program to advance their careers. This is particularly true of our active duty and reserve military students who need a master's degree. And lastly, this is a program that enables you to study directly with our faculty, which in my view constitutes one of the principal strengths of the program. Next slide. So this is just a small sampling of our team. The history department as a whole is much larger, but these are some of the individuals, the faculty that you would have a chance to study with. In no particular order, Kyle Sinisi is our Civil War and World War II expert. One of Dr. Sinisi's distinctives is that he takes both undergraduate and graduate students to Europe, where they get to explore battlefields and historic sites pertaining to World Wars I and II. Dr. Jacob Hagstrom is our specialist in 19th century US military history, with a particular focus on American Indians and also irregular warfare. We also have an expert in Russian history, and that is Professor Daniel Giblin, and he has written about the Battle of Kursk in 1943, and that's one of the areas of his research and scholarship, and he has traveled to Russia and conducted research there. Dr. Brian Lasley is an affiliated historian with us. He's a command historian in the US Air Force who teaches for us on air power history. My own contribution here centers on the patterns of US military history, and I also teach courses on my area of specialization of 18th century British North America, and in particular the French and Indian War, the global 7 Years' War, and the American Revolution. But in each of these classes that you might potentially take with our faculty, you would get a chance to interact with them directly. We utilize Zoom quite a bit to conduct seminars and meetings so that we can replicate the feel and the content and the outcomes of a traditional history graduate seminar. Next slide, please. One of the joys of being in this program, I think from both the student's point of view and the professor's point of view, is simply the diversity of our students and the experience and expertise that they really bring to the table. What you're seeing here is a list of some of the broad categories of our students. We have many active duty and reserve officers or senior NCOs who are part of the program, officials who work in government at various levels and capacities, public historians who are using this study of military history to enhance their development of their museums or historic sites, corporate professionals who have an interest in how military history relates to leadership and decision-making. We have educators at public schools or private schools that want to learn more about military history and to enrich their classes. We have researchers and veterans and even medical professionals who just have a yearning to learn more about military history. And this program, again, offers a very broad-based curriculum that has proven attractive to our students. Next slide, please. So again, these are, to kind of summarize here, these are some of the outcomes that we have in view with this program. This is something that will not only cultivate an ability to think historically, but it will also enable you to apply what you have learned in the form of good writing, good oral communication skills, good critical thinking and analytical skills. Also, there is this kind of delves into the next slide. So if you'll go into that, please. In terms of the curriculum, this is a list of some of the broad brushstrokes of the types of series of courses that you can choose from. Students generally start with our introductory series, in which they get a solid grounding in historical methods and historiography. And also they are introduced to some of the key strategic thinkers and military intellectuals throughout history. Our foundations courses are intended to be broad, thematic, exploratory courses. An example of a foundations course would be air power history. We have another one called naval and amphibious warfare, another one on US military history, another on irregular warfare. And these often cut across time and space, might consider different eras, different wars, different points of the globe. But those are, again, kind of our thematic courses that that give you a broad understanding of certain aspects or patterns or themes in military history. We also offer a robust number of conflict studies courses, and these are courses that enable you to take a really deep dive into a particular war or conflict. Some of the ones that are most popular with our students are, not surprisingly, the Civil War, the American Revolution, World War II in Europe, World War II in the Pacific, the Vietnam War, etc. We also have students do a class that we entitled War and Society series. And this is a series that will enable you to connect with other faculty in the history department who help us to broaden our frame of reference to, again, the ways that war shapes societies and cultures and people and individuals. So an example of our war and society offerings would be one of my colleagues. He offers a class entitled War and Society in China. And so it explores more the social and cultural aspects of war in China, but a very timely course. And also one of my colleagues teaches a class entitled War and Society in the Age of Total War. And that, of course, explores Great Britain in particular during the age of World War I, World War II. Finally, what I'll say about our curriculum pathways is that every student will choose a particular capstone path. And one of those is entitled the Capstone Seminar. And this is a class that enables a student to select a research topic of interest to them. You will develop that into a research project based upon primary source evidence, and you will produce in the end about a 30 to 35 page work. On top of that, you'll also take a second War and Society course, so that equals 6 credits. Students who are interested in archival research, students who are interested in publishing, or students who intend to pursue a doctorate beyond a master's degree are encouraged to take the full master's thesis route. And in this route, we certainly expect that a student will conduct research in archives and libraries pertaining to their topic and produce an original work of scholarship, one that we hope would be published in, say, an academic journal. No matter how you achieve that capstone experience, students will, in the end, take 30 credit hours. So again, that equates to 10 classes. And I think the last thing that I'll say before we throw this open to questions is, you can really proceed in this curriculum according to your timeline. We understand that many of our students are working professionals, and they might not have the margin to take more than say 2 classes a semester. If a student is able to take 2 classes per semester, we designed this so that it could be completed in approximately 2 academic years. But again, some students that have little margin because of military or professional duties, they proceed at a slower pace, and that's okay. We will still work with you and bring you to the finish line. So that's all I have to say, and I'll be happy to entertain any questions that you have.
Thank you, Dr. Preston. Before we get into questions, definitely we want to cover the application process, because we're hoping now that we've talked to Dr. Preston that a lot of you guys are now interested in moving on to actually applying to the program. And I want to walk you through that process a little bit. So when you log on to the Graduate College website and begin to do your application, you will see this page where you have to create an account. We have a variety of students who are applying. But for the military history program, you would be considered a graduate student. Even if you are in active duty or you are a veteran student, if you're applying to the master's in military history, we want you to apply as a graduate student. So definitely choose that option to create that account. Once you start and submit your application, you will get to this next page, but when you're going through your application, that's where you will give us the school that you were attending previously, that you attained your bachelor's degree from. That's where you will give us all of your personal information, name, phone number, email, that we can communicate with you, and then submit your application. We have a fee waiver at the end, so definitely stick around for that. And then once you submit it, you will have to log out of your account and then log back in to see that your application is now active, and then also to see what supplemental items that you would need to complete your application. So for the military history program, the items that you need are a complete application, which you would have after completing it through the website. We are waiving test scores, so no test scores are required through the rest of 2023. You would also need a resume that you can submit via email or through the portal. The email that you can submit those documents to is cgc@citadel.edu. We also require an official letter of recommendation. It's asked that it's come from a formal professor, but if you're in the working field and you have people who can recommend you, definitely ask those people to provide that as well. And then a one-page letter of intent. There are a couple of questions that we have on the website that kind of walk you through that, but just kind of tell us why you want to be in the program, how you see it improving your career, and what you hope to gain from being in the program. Once you submit everything, you will have be able to check your application status within the portal, within your account. You'll be able to see what step you're at. Our operations team here at the Citadel does a really good job of communicating with our students when we're needing additional things from you. Once we receive everything, the timeline of what the application process is going to look like, it definitely depends on what term you are applying for. So if you're applying for the summer term, that deadline is coming up. And once we can receive all of your documents, we will get that over to Dr. Preston and his faculty team. And usually it's about a 5 to 10 business day window, and we will send your admissions decision via email. Again, the application materials, your completed application, your official transcripts that are confirming your bachelor's degree, 2 letters of recommendation, the resume, your letter of intent, and your ID, which I missed in the beginning. That ID, you can send it via email or submit it on your application. That summer deadline is coming up next Wednesday. So if you wanted to get started this summer, please go ahead and get your documents in, because we'll be submitting it then. Our spring deadline is November 1st, and then our fall deadline is July 1st. As I promised, we have an application fee waiver code. It's Go Dogs. This will waive the application fee, because no matter where you are, we want you to get started on this process. So if we can make it a little bit easier, we definitely want to. And we appreciate you joining us today for our live webinar series. Please stick around. We will have questions once we stop the recording. Thank you.